guys would come back. You'd never hear about this stuff on the news. And these guys were fucked up, like IED explosions, guys getting blown to shit.
This video is brought to you by Carcajou Tactical and Gray Fox Strategic. For 10% off your next purchase with Gray Fox Strategic, use code DA10.
You know, for folks that don't know, during the Afghanistan era, you know, between 2005, 2009, that's where Canada suffered its most casualties. It's where a lot of good Canadians were coming home in body bags, unfortunately. And in that time, so 2000 to 2005, correct? That's when you were doing your residency. How much exposure did you get to the Canadian Armed Forces in terms of those folks coming home in bad shape?
So, prior to residency, I had very limited exposure to the CAF. A little bit during medical school, because we were the first in London. We were the first cohort that trained PAs, physician assistants. First started in the CAF in Canada.
Right.
Okay. So they came through when I was doing medical school, but that was my only exposure. In residency, however, so the Ottawa Hospital, Ottawa, the nation's capital, and we have the Ottawa Hospital, which is our trauma center, right? So we had a dedicated trauma service. And this is what actually got me interested in joining the CAF, because we see a lot of stuff in our textbooks, and we learn about how to fix fractures and stuff like that. You know, if you have this, do it this way, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I'm a very sort of logical person, but I do like to sort of figure out solutions to puzzles and think outside of the box. And so one of the things that I saw a lot on our trauma service, and I was constantly amazed by this, because you would never hear about these people in the news, right? But guys that were getting injured, they would be sent to Germany, stabilize in Germany, and then they would come directly back, right? Because they used to have NDMC, which was the military hospital. That's then when that stopped, they had sort of the military stuff at the Montfort,
right,
and then also at the Civic Hospital, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
So we actually had a military unit, right, at the Civic. So guys would come back. You'd never hear about this stuff on the news. And these guys were fucked up, like IED explosions, guys getting blown to shit.
Yeah.
And the thing that interested me was that, like, there's these fractures that's like, fuck, there was like nothing that I had read in any of my textbook. And it's like, well, you're having to make shit up, right? And one of the things that I like about orthopedics is that so many of the procedures that we have now that are commonplace in regular orthopedics were developed from applications in the military.
Right.
Because guys were like, fuck, how do I fix that?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was never in a textbook. And they made up a procedure or technique or equipment to fix that. And so I liked that challenge, right?
Yeah.
So we were seeing, like, every week during residency when I was on trauma service, there was at least one or two guys who were fucked up.
Wow.
Right? And so we were doing all kinds of interesting operations. And I was like, this is cool, man. Right? And then just, so that kind of made me, that kind of ignited an interest in that. And I thought, oh, like, I would love to do, initially I thought I was going to be a trauma guy, and just do trauma. And that was what kind of ignited that.